You ever heard the song, Grandpa, Tell Me About the Good Old Days? Well, my dad loves to talk about the days when they lived in the old house and the old log cabins, and they gathered water from the well and from the spring and all the things they used to do a long time ago. So he had the desire to build a log cabin, and that's what you see here today is his pretty log cabin. Gathered rocks and built a very pretty fireplace chimney, and has just a really nice place. If you just listen just a minute, you can hear the birds singing. I just heard a fish jump in the pond. Such a peaceful place to come and just think about the good old days when life was hard but a lot simpler, when people worked hard and stayed home, did a lot of walking to get to where they were going, maybe riding in a wagon. Or I've heard a lot of stories about how that he had to walk in knee-deep snow to go to school and build the fires when it was 30 below zero, and how he plowed in the field and all the things he had to do. If we could go back in time, if we could go back and live our lives again, what would we do different? Just what would you do different? I can remember Dad telling us stories many times about how he sat in front of the fireplace and you could look through the holes, the cracks in the floor, and see the chickens running under the house, and the hard times he went through, but yet he wanted to go back and build a cabin and a fireplace and reminisce about the days when he was a kid. I've read, and I know you watched Little House on the Prairie a lot on TV, and how that they would have to churn their milk and make their butter and milk their cows. And unless you live on a farm nowadays, you're most likely not going to have a cow that you milk anymore. And our grandchildren, do they know where the milk comes from anymore? I don't know if they do or not. But hard times, worked in the heat. And they had wood stoves, and when they made biscuits in the morning, how hot did it have to be to make that biscuit? And then it was going to be 90 degrees during the day. Do you really want to go back to the good old days? I don't know. In Daddy's cabin, he has built an upstairs room, and I'm going to try to get up these stairs right now and show you the feather bed he has up there. And the house is trimmed out in cedar upstairs, and it really smells fragrant when you come in. And we're going to go up the stairs now. Said you could turn that off. Here we are in the upstairs room, and Alan will show you all the cedar planks that they have put up here in the upstairs bedroom. Now, I remember on Little House on the Prairie, they would go upstairs and sleep up in the loft-like room. Daddy's old bed he has. We are in the kitchen corner now in this pretty old cabin. Daddy's found him an old wood stove, and you actually put wood in here. Build your fire to cook. Like I said, I can't imagine cooking on this stove and it being 90 degrees outside. I can remember, I think it was Momo Terrell that used to make homemade biscuits on an old stove that she would build a fire under. They have the old ironing board, and we got to get Daddy one of the old irons that you stick on the fire and heat up, and then you iron your clothes with it. Yep, the good old days. The good old days when things were hard, when times were hard. The little song that the judge used to sing said, did daddies really never go away? And families stand beside each other come what may. There were some good things about the good old days, I guess, that maybe we may have lost touch with nowadays. Maybe some things we need to go back to in the good old days. I think about Joshua where he said, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. What kind of decree have you made for you in your house today? What is it that you want for your family? What is it you want your children to do with their lives? What do you want them to remember about you? One thing that my family did, my mom and dad did for me, was taught me to sing praises to the Lord, and took us to church. We didn't have to walk. I'm so glad we didn't have to walk. But we would all go get in the car. Now, Daddy would always get in there first with his guitar and honk the horn. But we would all get in the car and go to church. There would be 4 of us, kids in the back seat, and Mom and Daddy in the front. And we would head to church every Sunday morning. Most of the time we go Sunday night, and Wednesday night, and every other time in between that we could go. But we learned to love the Lord. We learned to honor our father and mother. We learned the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We did learn a lot of good things, even though we didn't live in a log cabin. We didn't build fires and wood stoves to make our bread. But without going back to the good old days, we can still teach our family to serve God, to love their neighbor, to honor their country, and to love the Lord. And that's what I want to do. I want to leave a legacy to my children and to my grandchildren that there is a whole lot of love for us to give out to a dying world that needs the Lord.